filled full with that, it would be unto much more strength in our inner person, comfort in our inner person, if when we prayed, what was in our mind is that God is serving us with what we need. He is actively right now. Instead of, he is not, and I'm trying to petition him to. Right? You see, there's a big difference there. Right?
I need to get his attention.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a big difference from those two ideas. Right? And it's like Jesus saw that God is doing these things. Not that he will, not that he can, but that he is. Right? He is doing it. And something else about Jesus is, and I think it's contrary to what we do with prayer. Jesus wasn't praying as a reaction. Right? That doesn't mean he didn't ever pray when there was negative things going on. And it's not to say that he didn't think that by engaging with God, this would comfort him. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is Jesus woke up and went off and prayed with God, not as a reaction. He did it out of just a desire. Right? He wasn't reactionary in it. And I think so many times for us, when we pray, we're busy praying if we have something going on. Just if we have something going on, something that needs to be tended to, something we're afraid of, something we desire, something we're confused about. It's like all of our prayers is all the time about that. And it's like we wait till those times to engage in prayer. But Jesus was all of the time going off and engaging with God around the truth. He was all the time going off to engage with the heart of God. Right? All the time. And he was doing it whether there was something like immediate or not. He was like doing it to go hang out with his best friend. That's what he's going to do. Right? I mean, that's what he was doing. And I think so many times we think of prayer more reactionary. We're going to pray in reaction to something in order to try to deal with something. Instead of prayer just being about our hearts connecting with the heart of God. And we want that as a way of life. We want to live and move and have our being within the kind of life where our hearts are connecting with God's heart, right? On the daily. Not just when something goes wrong. And I don't mean like as a work. I mean like as a result of being persuaded God's your best friend. It's like when you're a little kid. Hey, when I woke up early in the morning when I was a little kid, I couldn't wait to get out of my house and go to my best friend's house and knock on the door. And for us to go ride our bikes in the woods and ride on trails and hit jumps and go dig and fish and hunt and all this kind of stuff, man. Swim in the lake, swim in the pond, swim in the river, wrestle alligators, catch snakes. I mean, you wanted to go find your best friend to do that. And so it's like God's Jesus' best friend. And so Jesus is just going and hanging out with God and talking with God about who God is and what's in God's heart, right? And then sharing in that same heart and talking about the life they share together, right? He was all the time talking with the Father about the life they share together, what this life looks like, what this life does, how this life manifests. When does this life manifest? What does it look like when this life... I mean, do you see what I'm saying? And so I think we've made prayer very impersonal. And it's not just like a hanging out. It's like this heavy kind of a thing, right? Where you must. Or you should. If you do, then. Instead of it just describing it from the right foundation. I could have taught a lot of things on Sunday. But I kind of want to just let the Spirit lead people into their own kind of prayer life. Right? And I just want them to hear what was Jesus praying in this prayer. Right? And then next week we'll get into why, or not next week, the following week, what he was teaching about prayer, why he was teaching that. Right?
That's good.